everyone. Thank you for tuning in tonight. Misty and I kind of threw this together a couple days ago, and we talk every single day, like multiple times a day. And for those of you who don't know Misty, she is under Brooke, just like me. So we're both in the same kind of team as far as downline, but we're on different teams. So we both signed up under Brooke, and we met in Gatlinburg, like, what was it, almost 2 years ago?
Is that where it was Gatlinburg?
Yeah, that's when we first started becoming good friends.
That's crazy. Okay. I can't even remember. I just had a baby, so I can't remember anything nowadays. Yeah, I think it was February 2015. Okay. I have a newborn under here and a 2-year-old here, 3-year-old here. So if y'all hear craziness, that's why. She's getting ready to go away, though. The in-laws are coming to her.
Where's David?
He's in bed with the baby. Okay, not crazy. Is my sound crazy on your ear?
Is your what?
Is my sound crazy on your ear?
Kind of cutting in and out.
Okay.
You good?
Yeah, that should be
Okay.
fine.
So anyway, so we met at, Brooke had a retreat, and it was in Gatlinburg, and it was for all her diamonds and above. And I was a Ruby at the time, and because she felt sorry for me, she invited me to come. And she was like, I know you're working really hard, like, so I'm going to let a couple of Rubies come. So I was like just so excited because I knew like all these diamonds were going to be there. And I was like, oh my gosh, like I'm big stuff. I get to like hang out with diamonds. And so I went and I met Misty there, and we instantly just became best friends. And we just hit it off. And so we've been like best friends ever since. And that's how we met and started becoming friends at that retreat. So needless to say, just being at those events and just being at retreats and being at meetings and just corporate stuff, you're going to meet so many people. And it's just so good to have like that person that's not under you or like directly affiliated with your team, to where you can go and get advice and talk to you about your team and talk to you about your business. And that you're not being affected either way as far as like income or anything like that. And you can just go to that person for advice or anything. So if you don't have a sideline in this business, reach out to somebody, find someone in your area, post on Climb to Diamond or your team page and just say, hey, I'd love to go get coffee with someone, and just talk about the business. Find someone that lives near you. They don't even have to be on Brooke's team. They can be anyone with It Works. But it really is. I mean, they always say like, you can't do this business alone. And it's so true. You need somebody to be able to confide in and go to. So go find a sideline friend, put yourself out there.
Yeah. I talked to Kayla earlier today, like always. And one of the things that I told her was that, this business, you guys, we're going to try to be as real as possible as we can tonight. I've been with the company it was 3 years in July. I know Kayla, year and a half, 2?
2 years. It was 2 years in March. 2.5 years.
So like we've been in it longer, and what we can both tell you guys is that if you don't have someone within this business that's not on your team that you can go to, it gets really hard. I'm sure Victoria, if she wasn't muted, she could tell you. I know she has good friends, and other people on here have good friends and other sidelines. And, one thing that I told Kayla, I said, listen, if you guys are scared to go and talk to a sideline sister, someone that's doing this business too, you're probably going to be really, really scared to go talk to a potential, because, we're all one team, one family. Just to have somebody to support you and let you know that you're not going insane. Like, there are times with everybody's team that, things happen and stuff slows down and stuff goes fast. And it's so important to have somebody out there. But you want that person that's real, that they'll tell you, that's not always that person of, you don't want a friend that their Facebook story, because we all, our Facebook story is all the highlight reels. It's not the everyday, sometimes hard things. So you want someone that's real and genuine, and you want someone that helps you get through your hard days, and you can help them get through their hard days.
Mm-hmm.
But going to events, I mean, absolutely. Yeah. Victoria's saying, yes, sideline sisters for sure. I mean, it's huge, you guys. And the only way you're going to meet people is go to events or do Zooms like this. I've even heard of people on Climb to Diamond that are not near any events. And so they've met people and they do Zooms with people, like off of Climb to Diamond or your team pages or whatever too. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. And, you do need that sideline because a lot of times I think it's hard, especially when you start building a team and you feel like you're constantly pouring into these people, but you're not getting that, encouragement. And so I think sometimes like it can be really draining and really discouraging. So you need that sideline person to be that person that's going to be bluntly honest with you, and they have to be, and just say, Misty, like, this is what I would do, or this is something I'm doing with my team that's working, or maybe you should try this. And, she does the same thing for me. Just that support, and just to know that, like, it's not advice I'm giving her because I'm going to benefit off of her financially. I'm not, making money off her team, and same with me. And, but just to know that, like, it's truly because we are one team, one mission, and we want to help each other in any way that we can. So, Misty, tell us a little bit, and we're going to go back and forth, just a little short kind of 2-minute thing about, when you started, what you did before It Works.
You said 2 minutes.
Y'all know Misty. It's going to be about 30 minutes.
I literally have friends that all they'll do is text me. They won't call me because they say it takes too long. I talk about too much random stuff. So, okay. So I'm going to try to narrow it down for you here. So I've been with the company for 3 years. I used to babysit and house sit Brooke Taylor whenever she was like in elementary. I was in high school. And so, no, I've been at 3 years. Sorry. We had our second kid and I needed money. I mean, I'm not going to scoot around and say, I wanted to be home with my kids and all that other kind of stuff. I could have cared less about being home with my kids. I needed money. We had just had our second child, and daycare is not buy one, get one free when you have a newborn. I always say that, but it's literally what I thought, you guys. I got my bill and it was like $1,200 or $1,100, and I cried. So we had to have daycare money for our newborn, which is now our 3-year-old. And I started seeing Brooke posting about the wraps. And I had been in 2 other network marketing companies. I was in Mary Kay beforehand because I wanted a pink Cadillac. Who wants to drive a pink Cadillac? If I had to buy a Cadillac now, it'd be a black Cadillac, not a pink Cadillac. But then I did Advocare, and I really liked the stuff, but then it started like having bad effects on me, and none of my friends could afford it. And so I knew there was money to be made in network marketing, and I had friends that were making it. It just wasn't happening for me, and I was spending a lot of money, and nothing was coming back in my pocket. And so when I saw Brooke posting about it, I literally probably laughed out loud. I was like, this is the stupidest thing ever. I just had my second kid. I gained a lot of weight. And I was like, there's nothing that I could put on my body for $25 that's going to do anything that those pictures do. And there was literally like a 9-month progression. I said it was we were due with my second kid. She had not actually come out yet, but so over the 9 months of me being pregnant with her is when I started watching Brooke, and it just kept posting. And like, I knew that they were having some hard times at the beginning. And so as I watched her, it was like literally every trimester I would go, I can't believe that people are actually buying this from her. I just can't believe it. And then month 6 came around and I was like, can you believe she's actually making money at this? And then month 9 came around and I had the baby and I got the bill for the daycare and I was like, holy crap, I've got to do something. David traveled all the time with work and I knew that there was no way that I could go out and find another job. I'd waitressed in high school and college, but I couldn't go do anything like that. And so this was like the only option. And that's sort of the thing. You're going to find a lot of people that this is the only option that they have. They may be scared, but this is really it. And so Brooke never once said anything to me. I never once commented. I never once liked anything. So when you think that no one's watching your stuff, I literally watched her for 9 months. And I know Kayla watched her for a long time without saying anything. And then finally she popped up and put something about she had a hair opening because she was doing hair at the time. I called her and I was like, hey, I need to get my hair done. And I remember looking at David going, I mean, because this was like little Brooke Taylor to me. She's Tom Titch now. But I was like, I may come back with like a shaved head. I don't know. Like, I don't even know if she can do hair. And I went and I talked to her and she was telling me about the wraps and everything. And at that point, she knew that I was interested in the business because I had not talked to her in like a year. And so she put a wrap on me. It was like 100 degrees in Nashville at the time. And she put saran wrap on me and told me not to sweat on my way home. And I was riding in a van with no air condition. Needless to say, I did not have good wrap results the first one. But I put a wrap on my mom. I bought a second wrap from her, put a wrap on my mom, and she had great results. And I was like, okay, I can do this. And so that's sort of how we got into it. Do you want me to tell the rest or do you just want me to stop there and we can go back?
Yeah, go ahead. Tell the rest.
Okay. You said 2 minutes and I know I'm like at 5 right now. So we got into the business and like a lot of you guys, I had that's so pretty. I had the expectation of I'm going to get in, I'm going to post, once or twice here and there on Facebook. I'm going to buy a t-shirt and put it on. And all these people are going to run to me and they're going to want to buy all this stuff from me. And they didn't. Like nobody. Like it was like everybody moved to Mars or something, MIA, my whole Facebook newsfeed. What happened was I never used Facebook beforehand. I had a Facebook page, but I never posted. I literally posted 2 times in a 6-month period. So no one was following me. They weren't actively looking for my stuff. So it took me 6 months to figure out how in the world I was supposed to be doing this. Really research, watch YouTube videos. Brooke didn't, she was making money, but she didn't know how she was making money at the time. This was when she first got in. She had people signing up left and right, but I didn't. So it was really hard for her to sort of tell me, okay, this is what you should do to sign up people because they were flocking to her. So I basically built my whole thing off of Facebook.
So when you got started, how long did it take you? So you signed up, you joined, and then you started posting on Facebook, and then nothing was happening. And so how long did it take you to get your first distributor or did you get your loyal customers? Was that easier or?
No, nothing was easy for me, you guys. That's why when people say I can't do it, I'm like, yes, you can. If you just don't give up, you can do it. I got my 4th loyal customer at 11:35 by default. On the
30th day?
On my 30th day. So she signed up and I didn't even know she signed up. And so I didn't even know how to check eSuites or any of that stuff. And so when I went in, it was I had a $120 free product credit because back then that's what we had. But we got those 4 loyal customers. And I was like, oh my gosh, somebody signed up. Or the company just felt bad for me because I couldn't get 4 loyal customers. And so they just gave it to me. But anyway, so yeah, I got that. But it took me 6 months. 6 months to get a distributor. I had oh gosh, he just threw up all over me. I'm just going to put the blanket on this side.
This is true life right here. See, it's unfiltered.
Life, you guys. Anybody that says they can't do it, I'm gonna say yes, you can. So, anyways, 6 months it took me to get my first distributor. Once I got my first distributor, I had thoughts of, is this really gonna happen for me? But Brooke made me promise her that I would give it a year. So at 6 months, I knew I still had 6 more months. My highest paycheck in 6 months was $13.31. I didn't
Y'all hear
get it
that?
because
$13.
$13.31.
Stuck with
That
it
was
for 6
my highest
months.
paycheck.
And some of you are over here complaining that you're not Ruby in a month and you're wanting to quit.
Yeah.
I need to hear that.
So then in that January, my check was $31.31, and we went to conference. We had no business being at conference. We were so broke. It was ridiculous. By this time, our baby was 6 months old. We were behind on a lot of stuff. I put conference tickets on my credit card. I lured my husband into going because I was like, hey, we just had a baby and we're not being in a hotel room like by ourselves. Come to Tampa, and so he went, and I kept telling him, if it's not fun, we'll go to Busch Gardens. Like, we couldn't afford a ticket to Busch Gardens. I knew we couldn't, but I was like, we'll go to Busch Gardens. This was the same conference that it was Brooke's first conference, and Jake wouldn't come to the conference. He went and golfed the whole time.
Yeah, he dropped her off at the door and went and played golf.
Yeah, he dropped her off at the door. We snuck him into the after party one night, but he dropped her off at the door, and like everything clicked for us. And so in month 6, that January, $31.31, and then they announced the good bonuses. They didn't have double good back then. They just had the good. And so we went diamond in April and double diamond in May. So basically in 10 months, people say, I got to double diamond in 10 months. But you got to realize that first 6 months, there was nothing. Like, I had my first party, and I had one person show up, and that was my mom, and it was at her house. Like, you guys, you just have to have that mentality of you're just not going to give up. And things are not going to be easy all the time. And, I always say this and I've said it to a lot of people on our team is, you pray for God to open a door, and he opens it, and then you got to walk through it every single day. Like, you have to keep walking through it. You can't just, okay, he opened a door, but it's not working. Like, you got to work it. And it took me 6 months to figure out what in the world I was doing. And still now, it's like, I'm constantly learning how to do new things. I love talking to Kayla because she does stuff a lot different than I do. I only started doing Instagram in January. I didn't even know how to get onto Instagram. I still don't do Snapchat. I'm like the old grandma. But
I just do Snapchat when I don't want to put makeup on to make me look pretty.
Because the filters are boring.
Oh, well, I'll do Snapchat. I'll have to get ready today. Jason comes home from work. He's like, wait a second, you don't look like that.
Yeah, but the cool thing is, and Kayla's going to tell her story in just a second, you're going to hear 2 completely different stories. Some people go really, really fast. Some people start off really slow. But I will tell you, the majority of people in this company that make a lot of money have been in it for a couple of years, and it took them a while to get going. And even if they took off at first, they had to rebuild at some point. Like, it's a business. It's, it takes time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So Kayla, tell us your story.
Okay. So I will try to go quick. So I got started March 2nd, 2014. I was a kindergarten teacher, and my husband was a medical resident. So he was just working like 90 to 100 hours a week. We had a newborn baby. And I was teaching school, and things were just really stressful, not just financially, but we just didn't have time for each other. We didn't have time for the baby. It was just really a lot of stress going on. We were in really bad debt from moving across the country for him to pursue medicine. And so we were probably like just thousands of dollars in credit card debt. Like, it was scary. And like I said, like Misty, I'd been seeing Brooke post about this rap thing for about a year and a half. That's how long I watched her, a year and a half. I grew up with Brooke. We're the same age. Her and Jason went to school together, high school, middle school. So they all, I knew Brooke. We went to preschool together. So we were like hometown friends, but we just hadn't talked in, a few years. So anyways, I'd been seeing her post about this business for about a year and a half. And she was always really sweet to me. She would always comment on my pictures, just, your family's so cute, your baby's so cute. And I really wasn't thinking too much about it. I never liked or commented on her stuff if it had to do with the rap or anything like that, because at the time, even though we were struggling financially, we both had jobs, and so we were paying the bills. No, we weren't going out to dinner or, doing extra things like that on the weekends, but we were at least paying our bills, and we were paying the minimums on our credit cards every month. Like I said, I'd been seeing her post forever, rolled my eyes at it, thought it was the stupidest thing ever. I had never been in network marketing. I had never done, anything like that before. I'd had several of my friends message me about Tupperware, Mary Kay, Advocare, all this. And I either ignored them or I just said, no, thanks. It's not for me. I just didn't want to put anything else on my plate. Like I said, I was a new mom, newborn baby, husband worked 100 hours a week, teaching full time. I just didn't have any more time to do anything. But let me just tell you that when I dropped my little boy off at daycare for that first day, when he was 6 weeks old, my heart broke into a million pieces. And it was like the light bulb went off in my head. And I remember that first day dropping him off, and going back to work after maternity leave, and just thinking, like, I just bawled in the parking lot, just cried my eyes out. Like, how am I going to do this every day? How am I going to leave him every day? This is awful. And I was just devastated. We had a really bad experience that first week that he was in daycare. And I was so stressed out back at work, worrying about him all day. He was getting taken care of. And finally, I just was like, you know what? There has to be another way. I'd been seeing Brooke post about all these things she was doing, going to Chick-fil-A, doing all this stuff with her son. And I was like, I want to do that. Like, that looks like fun. And so I messaged her literally a week after I went back to work. It was maybe like a few days after. And I said, what is this? What are you doing? And is it a scam? And she's like, no, it's not a scam. This is what it is. We talked for a little bit on the phone. And I signed up that night. Like, I went into the office. I remember it like it was yesterday. Jason was in the office paying bills. And I walked in there and I was already like nervous to even ask because I knew we were already in such bad shape financially. And I was like, hey, I just talked to Brooke and I really want to do this. Like, it's $99. I know we don't have the money, but we can put it on a credit card. And whenever I get my kit, I can sell my wraps and make my $100 back. So he was like, all right, that's fine. Like, I know we don't have the money, but we can put it on a credit card. And if you want to do it, it's your thing. Go for it. So I did. I signed up that night. Never had tried a product, never had tried a wrap, nothing. Got my kit in. I tried one wrap on myself and I sold the other 3. So I made $75 back from the kit. And I ran, y'all. Like, I'm not going to beat around the bush. Like, I busted my rear end from night one. I knew that it had to work. I hated the situation I was in going back to work. I was miserable at work. I hated leaving my baby every day. And I got started in March, and I knew if I just worked really hard, then maybe by the end of the school year, I could be making enough money to quit my job, like to finish out that school year and come home after it was over in June. And so you guys, I think the biggest thing is I just had that, it was like a time frame in my head. I knew I had 3 months. I had 3 months to make the same amount as I was teaching. And if I could do that, I could quit my job. And so I just always had that in the back of my mind when I started. And I was literally, let me just tell you guys, I was working all day teaching school. I would come home, give him a bath, get him dinner, put the baby to bed. And I was up on my phone. There were some nights, it was 3:00 in the morning, and I was up responding to messages, sending out messages, posting on Facebook, because I wasn't doing Instagram then. Anytime my phone beeped, I was right there, because I knew I had that why, and I knew I had to make it work. I went Ruby in 30 days, and people ask me all the time, how'd you do it? And I'm like, it happened really fast, but I busted my butt. It wasn't easy. It was not easy. It was not at all. It was so hard, but I did it. And then I got Jason a Ruby the next month. So at that point, we had 2 Ruby paychecks coming in. So that was about the same amount that I was making teaching minus childcare. So that was about $1,000 a month that I was bringing in, plus wrap cash and stuff like that. like Misty said, I just kept working hard for those 3 months. And in June, I turned in my letter of resignation and I quit my job. So, at that point I was still a Ruby. But I had built, like, there's several people that were signing up. So I had really good volume. But I just didn't know how to chart. I did not know what I was doing. I was putting all these people on my top line. I was signing up people, like, people were signing up like crazy, but I didn't know what the heck I was doing. I didn't have an upline where she was telling me, hey, you can go enroll this month. Like, this is what you need to do. So I was like the blind leading the blind. Like, I didn't know what the heck I was doing. And so I just knew the money was coming in. And so I didn't know, like, why I wasn't promoting. I just knew that we were making $1,000 a month. So I'll just keep doing what I'm doing.
You guys, when I met her, she literally had like 25 people on her top line, and I was like, what? You could have been diamond by now.
Yeah, it was bad. And so I started to see all these other people promoting to diamond. And I'm thinking, okay, I'm signing up all these distributors. Why am I not promoting? Like, I'm just sitting here at Ruby. Like, something's going on. So I remember in December, I was so frustrated at that point that I just wanted to quit. I was like, I'm not promoting. I'm still at Ruby. Things are just kind of going down. I was pointing the finger at my team. I was really discouraged. I was micromanaging. And I just kind of got into that role of like micromanaging instead of just, Kayla, just add new people, like quit worrying about people. And I wanted to quit. And so I called Brooke that Christmas and I said, I'm done. This is not for me. Like, I'm working my butt off and nothing's happening. And she said, you need to change your attitude. Like, quit pointing the finger at what everyone else is doing and not doing, and just go out there and find new people. And it was like a light bulb for me, because I had spent so much time looking at people on my chart and thinking, they're not working. Why aren't they posting? They're not doing anything, instead of like going and finding new people. And so when I changed my attitude and my mindset, my whole business changed. I went from Ruby to that March, I went diamond. The next month I went double diamond. And then I got my husband to diamond, and then double diamond. And then a year later went triple. My husband went triple. And then I just went presidential. So in 2 years, I went from Ruby to presidential. And then what was it? Was that 1 year?
1 year.
1 year from Ruby to presidential. Because I changed my mindset. And I'm going to be honest with you guys, like, I'm not perfect. And Misty knows, like, I go to her with my frustrations and my struggles. Like, no matter what rank you're in, you're going to be frustrated, and you're going to have days where you're just like, you feel like blah, you just feel like, I just need some encouragement. But you don't need to stay there. I think that's the biggest thing. Like, take a day, go have your pity party, get over yourself, and then get back to work. Wouldn't you agree with that, Misty?
Yeah, Ashley Sinclair, which if you guys don't know who Ashley Sinclair is, I think she's number 4 or 5 or 6. She's in the top 10. She's been there for a long time. She's absolutely hilarious, but she said she doesn't let herself stay in a funk more than 5 minutes. Like, when she's having a pity party, like, have the pity party for 5 minutes. Cry, scream, yell, bang your fist, do whatever. And when 5 minutes is over, you got to get over it and get back to work, because it's true. We don't get paid to stay in the pity party stance. One thing that I didn't say, even though Kayla told me to say it, I was in I was in corporate America whenever I got involved with It Works. And so I came from a totally different background. Like, this was not my thing. Oh, just a second. I love you. Have a good night. And so, like, it took a while to really adjust. I was a salesperson, and that's what I did for the bank at first. And so I came into this thinking, I'm going to be like the best salesperson ever, and you can't do that. And so when Kayla starts talking about, these times that people do promote, and you see it on Facebook and you're like, oh, they promoted in 30 days. Or they, went to Double Diamond and this time or that time or whatever. You guys, I had a husband that was never at home. Kayla, she had, Jason, he was doing his fellowship. He was doing all that stuff. Was never around. So you single mamas, you can do it too. I had a 4-year-old. I had a newborn. I think she was 6 months at the time. But we lived on a farm because, that's what you do when you get married is you buy a farm and like move 45 minutes away from anybody, everybody. And I was driving back and forth to Nashville, an hour one way, 45 minutes if there was no traffic, with these kids in the car, and I made it work. I didn't get any sleep for 4 months. Literally, I probably slept at the most 4 hours a night because I had to have it. And I think that's where a lot of you guys miss it. We were making good money. I mean, I was making a corporate career money. I mean, it was good money, but it wasn't enough because we weren't smart with it. We spent it like crazy and, it just went away. And so I think like one thing that I really hope y'all take away, and we're still talking and everything, but from Kayla and I is that there are ups and downs with your business, but you have to be really consistent every single day. And Kayla could tell you, I mean, those times that she felt like quitting, I'm sure she probably wasn't working as hard as she was whenever she was wanting to promote. And, we've had struggles with our business, and I've been very open with our team. We've lost rank. We've gotten rank back. I mean, it happens, but I could tell you the 2 months before any of that ever happened, it's because I wasn't working. And so we've both gone through those times, and we know the struggles like with y'all and what you're going through and everything. We just want to let you know that you're not the only one going through it, and you can't give up. I mean, and if you have team that are giving up, like Kayla said, find new people. I mean, we're rebuilding tons of our team right now. And, it feels like every year we rebuild, and everybody that's been in this for a really long time will tell you, you rebuild a lot, and it is what it is. But just don't give up on y'all's dreams.
Yeah. And, I think one thing I always tell my team is like, even the word rebuilding, I think can have like a negative, like connotation. Like some people are like, oh, rebuilding, and they get all this. And I tell my team, I'm like, you're never rebuilding. You're always building. It's part of the business. You're always just building.
I like that.
Having to rebuild a leg, it doesn't matter. You're just building. And so we're always just should focus on, we're just building. We're always going to be building. It's part of this business, you guys. And you're going to have people that, this is something I heard from Jocelyn Yates the other day, and it was really cool. She said, I think a lot of people get in this and they go diamond or they go ruby, and they look at that ruby chart and they're like, okay, these are my runners. These are my 5 people. And then they get that diamond chart out and they're like, okay, where are these 5 people going to go? And then next month, those 5 people are gone. And you need to realize that you're going to have brand new people on every single chart every single month. I think on my diamond chart, when I went diamond, I think I have one person, and that's Victoria and Jason, my husband. Those are the only 2 people that are still working this business from when I went diamond. Everyone else has quit. And so that's 25 people. And so you have to think like it's such a numbers game, and you have to just keep finding new people, because It Works is not going to be the vehicle for everyone, but it can be the vehicle for you. And as long as you believe that and you know that, then it doesn't really matter what other people decide to do. You can spend your so much time like pouring into people and getting people on corporate calls and leading people to events and telling people about your team page, and this is what you post, and but at the end of the day, like, it's their business and they have to take ownership and they have to make it happen. No one's going to do it for them. And if you are doing it for someone, chances are they're probably not going to stick with it anyway, because they're not self-motivated.
Yeah. And look at it this way. Okay. So like, who would like to be where Brooke Tomatich is right now and making the money she's making? I mean, like, if you don't raise your hand right now, you're crazy. I mean, I would love to be like right where she's at, but you guys think of it this way. How many of y'all on here are probably have been in this business less than a year? I would guess that only me and Kayla are probably the ones that's been in it for over a year, maybe 1 or 2 more people.
Mm-hmm.
But this is like, look at it this way. Krista Bratcher came to her, me, Krista, and Kayla all came to her after she had been in the business for over a year. She got Susan, what? She was in it
He was in
7.
it for 2 years when I joined.
Okay. She was in it 7 or 8 months when Susan Wade joined, which boosted, like, took everything, went crazy. She'd been in it for a year when I joined, a year when Krista, I'm telling you her top people, like on her top line. A year when Krista, Kayla was 2 years. Her best friend, Courtney Carlin, that brought Danielle Odom in, it was 2 years for her too. Like all these people, you guys, she had been in it a year or 2 years. So if you've been in this business for 6 months or even right at a year, guess what? This is the time that you're going to start getting those people coming on board. Because that's what happens. People have to watch you.
Mm-hmm.
And so you have to be working this business, and posting a couple times a week or even once a day on Facebook ain't going to get you anywhere. Nobody's going to see it. And so when I have somebody new come on, I tell them 5 to 6 times on Facebook a day. That doesn't mean you're like blowing up everybody on doing advertisements or anything like that, but you're just like making sure people know that you're alive and that you're in business. And so I think you just have to really keep that in your head. We all have that one person, and we want to be where they're at and making the money that they're making and living the lifestyle that they're living. I mean, we all have that person. But you have to realize that if you're not doing what they're doing, you're probably not going to get it. I mean, because that's what successful people do, is they find successful people and they mimic what they did. That's what I did those 4.5 months that it took me to go from distributor to Double Diamond. I found someone, and I literally mimicked what she did. When she posted, I posted. I copied things she posted. When she found a distributor, I was like, crap, I got to go find a distributor. And one thing that I would say to y'all that are like, I can't sign up a distributor. Why can't you? Like, that's my question. Why can't you? Me and Kayla are no more special than you are. It's just that we make ourselves do it. And I was not a huge recruiter. This year has probably been my best recruiting year. However, the more people that I've recruited, the more people that, really haven't done a lot of stuff. When I had smaller numbers, those people stuck around. So it's just like Kayla said, it's a numbers game. And whatever you put in your head of saying you can or can't do something, that's what you're going to do. If you tell yourself, I'm going to go out there and I'm going to go to Ruby and I have to go to Ruby and that's all that I'm going to do, and, I'm running, and you do that, then you're going to go Ruby. And for those of you that promoted really, really fast like Kayla, I applaud you. And if you say, well, I'm stuck and I'm not promoting now, go do the exact same thing that you did every single day until, like, while you were trying to promote. Do that now and you'll promote again.
Yeah. I mean, and it's all about just talking to people. Like, we are in the business where we get paid to talk to people. And I think so many people think that this business is just a one size fits all type business. And they think, well, Misty posted that, so I'm just going to go on Facebook real quick and I'm going to copy and paste her post and do the same exact picture with, the same exact thing. And you have to understand that, like, you're going to find success. Like, everyone's different in this business and everyone has different strengths. And so your strength might not be social media. I think a lot of people think this is a Facebook business, and it's not. It's a talking to people business. You have to build relationships, period. You can spend 2 hours on this long, elaborate post that talks about how this business is changing your life. And guys, it's not going to get you anywhere if you're not building the relationships. Okay. Just posting is not enough. I think Cammie said this one time. She said, posting is not asking. I think people think, I did my 5 posts today, so that's good. It's like, okay, that's great, but you have to take it a step further and you have to reach out. Reach out. If someone likes your post, reach out to them, and don't lead with the business. Don't just say, hey, thanks for liking my post. Do you want to join my team? Like, don't always assume that someone wants to join your rap team because they liked your picture of your dog. It doesn't always mean that. But let me just tell you that if you just take the time and you invest in people and you build those relationships, that whether they're ready now or 3 to 6 months from now, they're going to remember you because you invested in them and you weren't just looking at them like with dollar signs. You weren't just thinking, I just need to get them on my team really fast. You actually cared enough to like get to know them. And that part of the sowing process in this business, there's a sowing process and a harvesting process. And you might look at people promoting and think, God, like, that's not fair. They're getting all these distributors. Well, it's not. They're in the harvest season. They've spent the last few months before that sowing. Okay. And so you reap what you sow. And when you're not sowing, you're not going to have a harvest. So you've got to get out there and do the legwork and build the relationships and sow so the harvest will come, because it's like that for everyone. What were you saying, Misty?
Yeah, I would tell you, Kayla taught me something a couple months ago. So, like, we've been sitting, for any of y'all that's at a rank and you've been sitting there and, like, you're so sick of sitting there, maybe you've lost it and come back to the rank or whatever, and you almost get, like, we were so close to promoting a triple, and then it went away. Oh, goodness, I'm sorry. And, like, I was just so down, and I remember calling Kayla one time crying, which for those
it never happens. And so I was like, what?
That doesn't happen very often. I will cry because I see a homeless person, but I don't cry because, I don't cry because, like, my business is bad or something. I normally get over it and just run with it. But I remember, and she was like, what's wrong with you? Like she didn't know, hey, can you be a pacifier? She didn't know, what's going on and everything. And so, it was just really, I was at a bad point. I was so frustrated because I hadn't promoted. I mean, we've been sitting at Double Diamond for 2 years. But then, I started thinking, I was like, how many of you would, like, give your left arm to be at Double Diamond? I mean, like, let's be real. And so when I started looking at it and I was going, okay, well, I have to be grateful. And I remember hearing this at one of the conferences, you have to be grateful for where you're at, but you're constantly trying to get to the next point. Like, you're not content with where you're at. You're grateful that you're there and you're doing the best you can and being the best that you can while you're there. But you're trying to move on. And, I see a lot of people, they're all talking about your teams and, how discouraging it is sometimes and trying to motivate people and everything. And I always go back to the thing of you can't pull or you can't push a rope. Is it push a rope or pull a rope?
I was going to say you can't motivate people. You can only inspire them.
Yeah, you can. It's truly leading from the front. So if you are going, okay, well, my people aren't signing up anybody and they're not doing anything. Well, when's the last time you signed up somebody? And if you're saying, okay, well, I can't get anybody to get their 4 loyal customers. Well, are they seeing you sign up loyal customers? Really post about that. When you sign up a loyal customer, put on your, page. Kayla does it. I do it. Put up your page. I'm so excited. I got, I'm sitting here driving home and I got a loyal customer. Those are the things that let your team know that you're working and you're getting it too. And it is exhausting. Whoever put that just a second ago, you're right. There are times that it is absolutely exhausting. But how many of y'all have a normal
until
job?
You are, I think so many people think, I just want to be a double diamond. I just want to be an emerald. I want to be a diamond. But they don't understand that the higher in leadership you get, that you have to own more responsibility in this business. Yeah. It's not always easier. When you have 1,500 people coming to you every day with questions and this and that, be ready to lead these people. Some people want the benefits, but they don't want to have to work hard to get there. And
use this time to develop yourself. Mm-hmm. If you're not, that's what I'm doing right now is I'm reading a lot of leadership books. I'm reading a lot about how to be a good leader, how to be consistent. I have 3 kids now. It's hard to be consistent. Even though I do this full time, like, the struggle is real. And, yes, it is exhausting at times, but I will tell you that I would rather be exhausted in my pajamas, in my bed, eating bonbons, than being exhausted sitting in an office having some witch of a boss telling me that I can and can't do something, and my skirt's too short or whatever, and being around a bunch of like crack, crackhead people that you're just like, just smile, So, yes, you guys, there are times that it's exhausting, but look at what you're coming from. I mean, and I'm going to give him to David in just a second.
Yeah. And I mean, that goes back to you have to have a why in this business. If you do not have a why, you need to find one. And if you don't, hang on to somebody else's until you can find yours. Because that why has to be big enough where when you are feeling exhausted and you are frustrated or discouraged or whatever those words are, your why has to be so big that it pushes you to move past it and to keep going. Yes. I can guarantee you that if my why wouldn't have been big and it wouldn't have been my son, I probably would have quit a long time ago. I probably would have quit that month. I called Brooke, saying, I just don't know about this. I'm at Ruby. I probably would have quit. But my why was so big that I knew if I don't turn this ship around, I'm going back. My butt's going back to work. And then my child's going back to daycare, the place I did not want him to be. So I had to make a decision. Was I going to complain about it and just nag to my upline, or was I going to get out there and get my butt to work and start doing things different? And that's exactly what I did.
Yeah, I would second that and say, I've heard this all along, and I'm sure anybody that's been in the business has heard it for a while. Don't let your why become your reason why not, because I have had so many people quit because of their why. They say, well, I need to provide for my son, or I need to provide for my kids, or I need to make extra money. And then they quit because they're like, well, I can't come to a meeting because of my kids, or I can't do this. I mean, there's going to be things that you're going to have to give up. If you think that you're going to get in this business and that you're going to be able to still do every single thing within your life that you normally do and not have to change anything, I'm just going to tell you you're wrong. Like, if somebody told you that you can still do everything that you did, like, you're wrong. Like, you're gonna, depending on what you want out of this company, you're going to have to put time and effort into it. There are going to be things that you're going to miss. I mean, like, there's times that I miss my daughter's dance lesson, but Lord have mercy. I mean, she was 4. They don't know what they're doing when they're 4 years old. I don't have to sit there and watch her. I could be helping a mama, make money. I mean, like, just know that you can't have excuses. If your reason why is why, like, that's your reason why you're doing it, then you just have to do it. And let your reason why be your reason. Like, I think I sort of lost track on that. My reason why was that I needed money. I didn't want to be home with my kids. And that may sound horrible, but I was never that person that wanted to be home with my kids. I mean, I am now, and I absolutely love it. But I wanted to be corporate America. I mean, that was, make a lot of money, have no stress, don't worry about paying for my bills. That was my reason. And then I heard, like, all these people kept talking about they want to be home with their babies, be home with their babies. And so that sort of became my reason, was to be home with my babies. But it didn't drive me hard enough. So it doesn't matter what your reason is. Your reason doesn't, like, Kayla's reason is to be home with her babies. My reason is that I want to make money and not have to stress. It doesn't matter. One is not better than the other. It's what drives you. So if you're not driven by making money, then maybe you're driven by giving money or donating or feeling like you can help anybody at any time. Your reason is your reason. It doesn't matter. And own it and be proud of it and, just run with it.
Yeah. And I think, too, another thing is, like, as you're in the business, your why is going to change. Your why, at the very beginning might be a little bit different than it is now. I know for me, it obviously is still my kids, and that will always be the number one reason. But, my why in the beginning was just to make $300 a month, to be able to, like, go to dinner. Like, I didn't think I was actually going to be able to quit my job. I thought that would be great. Like, in a year, if I could work really hard, then maybe I could be a stay-at-home mom. But I didn't think, like, oh, in 3 months from now, I'm for sure going to be able to quit my job. I just worked really hard every day and did what I knew I needed to do. And it got there over baby steps over time. And next thing I knew, I was able to quit my job. And so now, my why is still my kids, but I've been able to, pay off $100,000 in debt and do more things. And so my why has become so much greater than just me and the things that I've been able to do. And now my why is to help my teammates and to help them discover their why. And, I'm going to be really honest, like I'm a red personality, and I'm not afraid to give someone a kick in the pants if they need it, because everybody needs one sometimes, and Misty will give it to me. And you need that. And so, when I went to Brooke and I was all full of excuses and I was like, I just don't know, blah, blah, blah. And she was like, you need to change your attitude. And you know what, honestly, like if she would have been just sugarcoating it, I probably would have ended up quitting. But the fact that she had to remind me of my why, she said, what is your why? Do you want to go back to work? Do you want to put your kid back in daycare? That's the whole reason you joined. And it really like made me realize like I just need to change my attitude. Like it wasn't about who on my team was working and who wasn't working. It was about what am I going to do differently starting today to turn this ship around and to be successful. Because nobody cares about your paycheck as much as you do. That's just the truth.
You guys, I'm gonna tell y'all this, and it's two parts though, okay? The first part is this doesn't need to apply to your team. I'm just talking about you individually, okay? So the best thing that can happen for your business, it will be the most uncomfortable thing. It will be the thing that ticks you off the mostest. It will be the mostest. I said the mostest. It will be, it will be the thing that hurts the most in your business. But the best thing that can happen for your business is for your upline to not do it for you. That's the honest to God truth. I hear so many times, well, my upline's not posting, and my upline doesn't tell me this, and my upline doesn't tell me that. And I say, because your upline is worried about their business. They're not in charge of making sure your business runs. It's your business. Mm-hmm. Like, you have to take ownership of it. If Brooke would have told me everything to do, I would have never gone on YouTube and watched all these videos that would have inspired me, and I would have learned so many different things from so many different people, with it works and not with it works, to become who I am now. And I am nowhere near where I want to be. I mess up and fail every day. There are times that I'm a horrible leader, and there's times that I'm a great leader. But it's all a learning process, and I know that it's my journey. Now, I'm not going out there and telling y'all to sign up people and be like, Misty said the best thing for y'all is for your upline to be like, see ya, bye-bye. I'm not saying that. You want to train your people. You want to make sure they know what they're doing. Like, don't sign up people and then not tell them anything. And if you don't know what to tell them when you sign them up, find someone that does.
Yeah.
Go to your upline, go to a sideline, search out videos, how to boost a distributor. Cammie Dempsey has tons of videos out there of what she does when she enrolls someone. Like, reach out to people, figure out what you're supposed to be doing. As soon as you sign up someone, you're a leader. Like, it doesn't matter if you have one person or 1,000, you're a leader. But stop worrying about what everyone else is doing and do your thing. Like, Kayla posted this thing today. If you stop worrying about, or if you start running with the runners and just focus on the people that really want this and not the people that are just dragging you down, your days would be so much better. And so that's what you just have to focus on, is stop worrying about your team and what they're doing and how many people they're enrolling and all this other kind of stuff, and just do your thing. Go find a new team. You did it once, you can do it again. We've done it 8,000 times. You can do it again, I promise you. Keep going.
You have to keep finding new people. That's just all there is to it, guys. If you enroll 100 people personally enrolled, you might have 1 or 2, maybe 5 at the most that stick with it. I'm just being bluntly honest. You're not going to sign up 5 people and all 5 people are going to take you to the top. That's just, I've never heard of that happening. But you just have to be, if you really want to be successful, and I think there's 2 types of people. I think there's a person that says they want to be successful, and you just say it like it's a blanket term. And I think there's other people that will get out there and do what they've got to do to be successful. And I'm the second, and I think a lot of you on here are. And because, you know, like Misty said, Brooke, you know, when she signed us up, and I don't know about Misty, but I know personally for me, I got an email when I signed up. I was added to the team page, and that was it. Like, she would check in maybe once a month and say, you're going to go Ruby this month, the next month. You're going to go Emerald this month. But, like, that was it. Like, there was no, hey, here's a post that you should post. Here's a video that I want you to watch. Here's, you know, it wasn't. Like, so I had to figure out how to be self-motivated and how to, you know, look at people on YouTube. And it just baffles me when people come to me and they're like, I want to be successful, but I just don't know, like, what to do. And it's like, there are so many resources. You have your eSuite, you have your training academy, you have documents, you have, you know, get on YouTube. If you know how to work the internet, get on YouTube. And this is what I did when I first started. I would just type in, I didn't even know any of the top leaders, so I was brand new. So I was like, I don't know the top leaders. Like, who's Cami Dempsey? And so I would just Google, like, top income earners with It Works. And I would just get, like, a list, and I would just go on YouTube and start looking up their videos. And that's what I did for months. And you just have to be open to doing everything, like everything. Wrap parties, blitzing, posting, messaging. You have to be open to doing it all. If you're going to just sign up and say, I'm just going to post on Facebook, then you're limiting yourself and you're not going to be very successful. You have to be willing to, when your upline says, hey, go have a wrap party, go do an event. Instead of just saying, no, I'm not going to do that, I'm shy, say, you know, okay, I am shy and it is uncomfortable, but I want this so bad and I want to be successful. So I'm going to do what I have to do to make it happen. So I mean, I think I did my first wrap party like 2 weeks in, and it was a lady I met on like a mom page. And I showed up at her house, and I was like 2 weeks in the business. I had no products. I had the wraps. That's it. I didn't know what the heck I was doing. I had watched like a YouTube video on how to do wrap party. No one had ever taught me. I never saw one in person. And I drove 45 minutes to this girl's house. She's told me there's going to be 10 people there. I show up with my wraps. There's 2 people there. So I'm like, okay, great. I don't know any of these people from out. They're strangers. But I needed the $50. I needed the wrap cash. So I went out there on my weekend and did it. And I ended up signing like 2 of them as distributors and customers, and she became a distributor. First wrap party. So you just got to get out there and be willing to do everything if you want to be successful.
Yeah, I've heard a couple times, and I've tried to tell our team this, especially the ones that are promoting. Your team that got you to Ruby is not going to be the team that gets you to Emerald. And your team that gets you to Emerald is not going to be your team that gets you to Diamond or Double Diamond. Like, you know, you're going to have new leaders emerge. That's why it's so important to personally enroll new people. Like, if you want to know where the money is, personally enroll new people. That's where it's at, because you know, you're not worried about when you personally enroll these people, as you start learning how to chart and you start learning levels and how you're paid and commission and all this other kind of stuff. If they're personally enrolled, you're not worried about it because you're still making that personally enrolled money off of them. And so, you know, that's where it is. That's when you get those fast start bonuses, and those bonuses are great. I mean, I remember there a time that there was a girl on our team that she made more in fast start bonuses one month than she did in her commission check. Like, you know, fast start bonuses are awesome. So, you know, stop making excuses of who and what and what's not right and all this other kind of stuff. It's never going to be a perfect world. You got to make it that way.
Yeah. And I mean, I just want to piggyback off that really quick and what you're saying, you know, quit making excuses. Like, Brooke did this thing in Gatlinburg when me and Missy met, and she told us all to write down our fears. And then after that, she had a fire, and we all burned our fears in the fire. And so whatever excuse you have, whatever fear you have going into this, like, don't go like burn your house down or anything, but you know, make a mental picture and like tell yourself, I'm burning that fear today. Rip it up, throw it in the trash, shred it. You know, if you come from, you know, whatever you've come from in your life, whether it's adversity or, you know, hard times or whatever, don't let that be an excuse that you can't be successful, guys. Like, the top money earners in this business sold their couch to get started. She was a widow. Stephanie and Joel Dunn. She was a widow, a young widow, a single mom, and she sold her couch to get the $99 to join the business. Chad and Dree Keneller. She was a high school dropout, hooked on drugs. Like, she tells her story all the time, how she, you know, everyone looked at them as failures, and they're like in the top 10 money earners. So I don't like, everybody is going to have an excuse. You know, I'm pregnant, I can't work the business. You know, we're moving. It's always something. Your life is never just
a newborn that I'm nursing on a call while he throws
your
up
life
on
is
my
never
shirt.
just going to be like this chill, like with no problems. Like, we all have problems, guys, but you have to just get over your excuses and realize that, like, everybody's got them, but you've got to work hard and you can make it happen regardless. Like, just work hard. Like, quit using your excuse to stop you from working your business. Like, just get out there and make it happen.
And if you don't know, like if you don't know what to do, like I said, find top money earners within this company and watch what they're doing. They're posting it on Facebook. They're putting out there what they're doing. Watch what they're doing and just do the same thing. You know, I mean, we all work a lot of hours. The people that are really successful with this, we put a lot of time into it. Yes, you see our posts where we're at the pool, but we're working our tails off at the pool.
Yeah.
Like, you know, you've got to realize that you've got to put the time and effort into it. And if you sign up someone and at first they don't put that time and effort into it, go sign up somebody else. It doesn't mean give up on the person that's there, because if Brooke would have given up on me, I never would have been here. But, you know, don't put all your effort into trying to make them successful when they're not willing to make themselves successful. Yeah. So you want those people that want to run. You want those people that call you 1,000 times that first day. I mean, like, even though you're like annoyed by it because you're like, oh my God, like, stop calling me. But you're also like, holy crap, like, they're like want to do something. I mean, it makes you get excited, and you need that excitement in your business. So new people are where you get that excitement. It is 10 times faster to get a new person to Ruby and Diamond than it is somebody that's been in the business for a long time. Because the people that's been in the business a long time, they have too many doubts and fears in their mind that they have to get through. And the new people don't know what the crap they're doing, and they're just excited because they're excited, and they don't know why they're excited, but they're excited, and they bring on more people.
Yeah, I think that's why I promoted, you know, a lot of people say, well, and honestly, I didn't know anything about the products. People were asking me, I would post about the greens or something. I'd have like 10 people messaging me, and I had no clue what the greens even were. I never tried them, but you know what? I was willing to find out. So I just go to my eSuite, what are in the greens? Oh, hold on a second. I'll be right back. I was like looking at like, what are in the greens? And I, you know, it's like I had ignorance on fire. I was ignorance on fire, and it didn't matter. You know, I had never even tried the products, but if someone was going to ask me about it, I was going to talk about it like it was the next like big thing. Like I did, because I needed this to work so bad. And so
I told someone at first when I first started that how did I put it? I said, "DU is comparable to Viagra. Like you'll be like sex all the time if you do New You." And they bought it, and then I was like, "Oh, I'm not supposed to say that. Like that's not right." Like, but I didn't like. You know, if I would have told them all the normal stuff that you're supposed to tell them about New You, they probably never would have bought it. But it's true. You can be ignorant and on fire, and that will last you for a little bit of time until you can figure out what you're talking about. But just be excited. Don't worry about knowing everything.
Yes, stop wasting your time trying to figure out everything. You're missing the boat, guys. Like, nobody cares how many milligrams of caffeine is in the greens. Just tell them, you know, just quit taking 3 days to figure stuff like that out. Like, you are wasting time. And, you know, someone said one time, this business is not a sprint, it's a marathon. But there are times in the business when it's time to sprint. You know, there are times to sprint, and right now is the time. If you're not sprinting with your business right now, chances are in the winter you're not going to be sprinting with it. So it's time. There are times to sprint, and now is the time.
And I will tell you, as someone that's been in the business for a longer time than most of you guys, I've been in the business the longest on here. I can actually say that on this call. Never on any other calls, but on this call I can. Like, you know, a lot of times it dips a little bit in the wintertime, but it dipped in the summer. So I really think maybe it's going to come back in the wintertime and things are going to start going like crazy. So if you're not working your business right now, you know, I look at it as if everything that I'm doing right now, I'm getting ready for the first of the year. Because the first of the year, we all know, if any of y'all have ever been at the first of the year, that's when it all goes crazy. These bonuses come out, everything goes crazy. So I'm preparing myself right now for the first of the year, which means I want to be getting paid more because I'm working harder.
Yeah.
Like, that's just the fact of the matter. So,
yeah. I mean, you just have to get out there and make it happen. I mean, that's just all there is to it. Quit spending so much time trying to learn everything. That's what's so good about this business versus like corporate America is like you literally can still make a paycheck and while you're still learning about the business. You don't have to learn everything and then get started. Like in corporate America, you have your training week and where you're not really getting paid and you get started. With this, like you can start getting paid day one. I mean, you go out there and sell some wraps, that's cash in your pocket. Like, so.
yeah. So Kayla, what was your aha of all the time that you've been in here? What is your aha moment? Or what's like the one thing that has stuck with you the best? Don't you always love that question?
I just don't get that question. Pam asked me
what was the changing point for you?
I mean, there's just been so many the last 2 years, and I just feel like there's always aha moments as I'm learning, and just I think I don't know. I mean, there's so many. I think one of the biggest things is you got to just keep going. You know, I mean, it's not really an aha moment. I mean, I think going to conference and going to events would definitely be like those aha moments because you're so excited. You're on all those people and you're all fired up. But I think your aha moment has to be every single day deciding that you're going to choose this business. I mean, it has to be every single day. And you guys, if you think that Misty and I aren't tired and there's days when we don't feel like posting or there's days when we're down, like you're wrong because we all have it. We all, no matter what rank you're in this company, you're going to have days where you don't feel like doing it, but it doesn't matter what you feel like doing. You just do it anyway. Because you can't let your feelings be a reflection of like what you're going to do and what you're not going to do. Like you just got to do it. Like, period. I mean, there's no.
Yeah, to piggyback off of you, I told a group of girls on our team, I guess it was last week. I don't know what week is what week anymore. But I said, if more of, I just kept hearing all the excuses and this and that and blah, 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 and all of them worked full time. And I said, you know what? If all of y'all treated this business like you did your full-time business, it would be a full-time business for you. And they were like, well, we don't understand. And I said, well, I'm going to step on your toes and hurt your feelings for a little bit. But when your boss pisses you off, do you just quit? Heck no, because that's how you get paid. Mm-hmm. Or if an employee or if something happens or if you're just tired or if you just don't feel like going into work one day, do you just not go into work? Like, no. I mean, you got to look. There are some of y'all that have had jobs this summer that have been the most horrific, horrendous jobs ever, but you did them. And you went and you sweated balls off at a factory or whatever. And you did that because you were getting a paycheck. But the fact of the matter is that there are times that you don't put 5 minutes into this business and then you're pissed off because it's not working for you. Like, treat it like your normal job. Treat it like you want it to be your normal job. And it will be. I promise you guys it will be. And I hope that didn't come across too mean or anything, but it's the honest to God truth. I mean, if you're putting 30 minutes into this a day and you want it to be full time, like, I don't know, unless you're a really good hooker, like, you're not going to make full time money off of 30 minutes a day. I mean, you better be a really good hooker, like like Hustler Girl or something hooker. I mean, because like you're not going to make that. Yeah. And so, you have to put the time and the effort in. I would say my aha moment with this whole business is that someone said, if your mouth isn't open, your business isn't open. And I come across very straightforward and outgoing and bubbly and all this kind of stuff with people that really know me. But when I'm out in public, like at first it was horrifying to me to want to walk up and talk to someone. Like if they started talking to me, I would say something to them. But like it took a really long time for me to go, okay, I've just got to do this. And there was that movie, We Bought a Zoo, and there was the one quote in there, and I swear you guys, this changed a lot of stuff for me. And I have to remind myself of this because I still drop back into those times that I don't say stuff. I still to this day, even though I know I need to, I still do. But there was, if you had 20 seconds of insane courage, you could change your life. And it's so true. You just need 20 seconds. That's all you need is 20 seconds just to say, I'm just going to go do it. I'm just going to go talk to this person. I'm just going to say something. Like, you know, and I always come across as if I'm like goofy. So then if I screw up, they just think I'm goofy and sort of dumb anyway. So they really just don't even look at it that bad. Like, you just have to be what you are. But I'm like actually smart. And so just be who you are and like who you feel like you're most comfortable in that skin. But if your mouth isn't open, your business isn't open. Mm-hmm. So for those of you that are posted, look, I could be like this all day long. It doesn't matter.
Yes, and I think so many people say, well, I'm posting, I'm working my butt off, I'm posting. Yeah. I mean, I was being real.
Open your mouth and talk to people.
Like, you are not working your butt off when you're scrolling on Facebook 6 hours a day. That's not working your butt off. Like, post, make your post, spend your 5 minutes to make your post, and then go reach out to people. Get off the computer, go to Chick-fil-A, and I always say Chick-fil-A because I go there every day. It's a problem.
In the car wash.
Go meet people. Go get in a book club. Go meet other moms in the PTO, whatever. Wear your It Works shirt. I wore my It Works shirt to my OB appointment last week, and my nurse practitioner now wants to join my team. I mean, you would be amazed of just wearing your gear, how much conversation it starts. It's a tax write-off too. Like, if you're going to buy clothes, get your It Works clothes. And one thing I want to add is when I did the call with Pam the other night, one of the girls on there said something that really stuck out to me. And Pam asked her what her aha moment was. And she said when her really good friend came to her and she had signed up as a distributor under someone else. And she was all upset about it. And she said, why did you sign up under her? And she said, well, I didn't know that you wanted me to be on your team. And she said that was her aha moment because she never asked. And so you can't just assume that people are going to sign up under you. You've got to get out there and ask. If you are at the grocery store and you're going through that cash register and you just have this feeling, like this gut feeling, or you're at a restaurant and your waitress is, is like an awesome waitress, she's real outgoing, and you just have that like gut feeling, you've got to open your mouth, because this is the way I always like help myself get over my fear. I always just like try to make it not about me and about them. So if I know that like I'm not thinking about my fear, even though I'm scared, I'm just thinking about like how this can help them. And when you come at it like, I'm going to help that person, I'm just going to tell them about it because it might help them, you could change their life. And in turn, it changes yours too. So just quit worrying about yourself and your own fears and your own anxiety. And just think about like, you know what? I'm going to offer this opportunity to this girl. And she might say no, but it might be the thing that changes her life and her situation. So why not? So
love that. That's a great thing to end on, because I love you all, but I'm about to pee on myself, and my baby is now crying. My baby is now my reason why I cannot stay on this movie.
Well, thank y'all for tuning in. I hope that y'all are encouraged. I had fun. So yeah. If y'all ever want to do it again, we are always happy to do that. So y'all go out
there. Guys, don't give up on your dreams. Keep going. Keep pushing.
Good night.